Okay, if you follow tech startups, hitting $100 million in ARR, annual recurring revenue, well, it's kind of the dream, right?
It's the major league benchmark, absolutely.
So what if I told you a company did that in just 8 months? I mean, that's faster than giants like OpenAI, faster than Perplexity. You'd have to assume they've got some, like, top secret AI, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of speed, that acceleration, it usually points to some, massive technological edge, or maybe they just completely owned a market from day one. It's record-breaking stuff. You'd expect a really unique engine driving it.
Exactly. Well, the company is Lovable, and it turns out their growth engine wasn't some hidden tech advantage. It was a deliberate philosophy they call inclusion as design.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're doing a deep dive into the source material we found that unpacks this. How did removing friction, taking down those traditional gatekeepers, actually become their financial algorithm for this kind of hypergrowth?
Right. And our mission here, for you listening, is really to understand the physics of this growth. Like, what happens when you essentially hand over the keys to creation to, well, pretty much anyone.
Anyone, anywhere.
We're looking at inclusion, but maybe not just as a social good, which it is, but as a core business strategy. If giving access truly leads to acceleration, how do they actually engineer that?
Okay, so let's get into the basics. The DNA of Lovable, founded late 2023, Stockholm, Anton Osika and Fabian Hidden.
Right.
And crucially, they didn't just appear out of nowhere. They actually grew out of a pretty successful open source project, GPT Engineer.
Yeah, that's key. GPT Engineer was already out there doing this thing, turning natural language prompts into code. It was like their proof of concept.
So they had a running start.
A massive running start. And the commercial numbers that followed are just, well, frankly, they're staggering. They've got the record fastest software startup ever to hit that $100 million ARR mark. 8 months. And the sources say by early 2025, they had millions of users. Nearly 200,000 paying subscribers.
Wow.
And that kind of engagement, that volume, it obviously helped them pull in one of Europe's biggest Series A rounds ever. $200 million funding at a $1.8 billion valuation.
Hold on, though. Millions of users, 200,000 paying in 8 months. That's incredible speed, but doesn't that create huge challenges like infrastructural debt, scaling issues? Did they have to trade off refinement for just pure volume?
That's a really fair question. And what the analysis suggests is that the infrastructure copes because of how the product is designed. It's built for this kind of distributed, low-friction use.
Okay.
So the product itself, it's an AI-powered no-code platform. And it lets anyone like a solo founder dreaming something up or even a big team inside a corporation build full-stack applications.
Oh.
Just by describing the idea. Plain language. Or even using voice commands, the platform takes that and outputs, well, basically ready-to-launch software.
So it's not just spitting out lines of code someone else has to stitch together. It's the whole application.
Pretty much. Ready to go.
That really bridges that huge gap, doesn't it? Between the person with the great idea and the technical expert who can actually build it.
Exactly. Which brings us right back to their core idea, inclusion as design, putting it up against that traditional, exclusionary model.
Right.
The growth, according to their philosophy, isn't coming from like aggressive marketing pushes or creating artificial scarcity. It comes from just radical enablement, making it possible.
Which is fascinating because traditionally tech and lots of other fields, they thrive on gatekeeping, right? Access is limited. You need the credentials, the specialist knowledge.
You need to be an insider.
Yeah. The whole design principle is filtering people out. And the result is often, power gets concentrated. Maybe innovation even stalls a bit because not enough diverse ideas get through.
Lovable just flips that script entirely. Their approach, this inclusionary system, well, access is basically open. Doesn't matter about your background, your technical expertise. The design focus shifts completely. It's about enablement, co-creation. And the outcome they bet on and seem to be getting is distributed opportunity. So it's not just more engagement, it's actually fostering more innovation, better talent retention across their whole ecosystem. The bet is that, 1 billion ideas are better than 10 carefully selected ones.
Okay, so connecting that back to the product, Lovable basically got rid of the biggest gatekeepers in software, needing to know how to code. That's huge. But doesn't that just create a new gatekeeper? Like maybe now you need to be an expert prompt engineer or really understand AI deeply.
That's a great point, and it seems that's where the lovable aspect of the design really comes into play. The tech aims to be so good that the user only needs sort of high-level conceptual instructions, maybe high-level prompts is the way to think about.
Not super technical ones.
Right. The goal is almost for the tool itself to disappear. They're trying to make that bridge between idea and execution so seamless that the only thing holding you back is maybe your own ambition, not your technical skill.
Okay, I want to see this in practice. The SheBuilds Hackathon. That sounds like a really concrete example.
It is. It's a perfect case study. Lovable noticed even on their own easy-to-use platform, women were initiating fewer app projects than men.
Huh. Even with no code.
Even with no code. So they saw a systemic gap, something they felt they needed to actively address.
So SheBuilds was the response.
Exactly. It was this pretty ambitious invitation. They reached out globally to women, ended up selecting 200 participants from something like 3,000 applicants.
Wow.
And the task was intense. Build a live app prototype in just 48 hours.
48 hours.
Yeah, and the analysis points to this really interesting culture that popped up almost instantly. It was virtual, global, super fast-paced, but also apparently very generous and supportive.
And that support was intentional, right?
Yeah.
The sources mentioned they didn't just invite people, they actively helped them succeed.
Totally. They gave participants unlimited credits for the Lovable platform, direct access to the core dev team for help, expert sessions on product development. It was all about equipping them and then, crucially, trusting them to just build fast.
That trust seems key.
It is, but, there's always nuance, isn't there? With this idea of truly universal access.
Oh, okay. What was the catch?
Well, not exactly a catch, but a challenge. While the invitation was global, the timing of the live sessions, the coaching, it was very U.S.-centric.
Ah, time zones.
Exactly. So for some participants, say in Asia or Europe, those key interactive moments were happening super late at night, like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. their time.
Ouch. That's tough.
It is, and it just highlights that achieving genuine inclusion, especially globally, needs constant attention. Geographic equity is still a hurdle, even for companies trying really hard to be inclusive.
That's a really important point. Still, though, the overall energy sounds like it was amazing.
Oh, definitely. The sources say the commitment was infectious. It really felt like a movement was born just out of giving people the opportunity and trusting them. It says a lot.
And there was a nice touch afterwards, too.
Yeah, a small thing, but telling. They sent every participant a surprise thank you gift, just a lovable t-shirt, sent via a service called Go Swag, but it helped reinforce that lovable tone, care, connection, making the virtual feel a bit more tangible.
Nice. Okay, so zooming out from SheBuilds, how does this fit into their bigger picture, their global strategy?
So the analysis we looked at uses this framework called the Ambition X Agency Ladder. It's basically a way to map how organizations evolve as they try to create a scalable systemic impact.
Ambition X Agency.
Okay.
And according to this model, Lovable isn't just playing small ball here, they're aiming high.
All right, let's break down that ladder for people listening. What are the levels?
Well, you've got companies that are globally active. They operate across borders, sell internationally, standard stuff for many tech companies.
Okay.
But Lovable seems to go further. The framework suggests they're globally ambitious, which means they're not just selling everywhere, they're actively trying to tackle systemic gaps.
Like the gender gap they saw with SheBuilds. Exactly. Or just their core premise, reframing access so that, anyone, anywhere, any age, can build software. That's a fundamentally ambitious goal, challenging the status quo.
Right. And is there a level above that?
Yeah, the top level is globally impactful. And the analysis places Lovable here. This means they're seen as not just selling a tool, but actually shaping entire systems, inspiring collective action.
So transforming inclusion from just an idea into actual infrastructure.
Precisely. Proving their model works globally by genuinely unlocking innovation at scale from a much wider pool of people.
So the core idea driving this isn't just the software itself, it's leverage.
That's a great way to put it. They use strategic leverage. The AI tech is one lever. Their network affects more users, attract more users. That's another. And the engaged community is a third.
And they use these levers to turn basic access into acceleration.
Exactly. It's meant to be a positive sum cycle. It lifts the individual builders, giving them agency, and it lifts the broader systems they participate in by bringing in more diverse solutions and ideas.
Okay, so when you look at that kind of impact, it makes you wonder, what can we take away from this? How can people listening maybe replicate some of this strategic inclusion in their own field?
Oh, right. That's the practical question.
And the analysis actually distills Lovable's approach into some actionable steps. It calls it acting lovable. And the nice thing is, These seem pretty transferable.
Yeah, they're not specific to just AI or software.
Okay, what's the first step?
First, make an invitation. Be intentional about reaching out to people who are maybe underserved or just not currently engaging with whatever your platform or process is. Don't just wait for them to show up.
Proactive outreach. Okay, step 2.
Remove gatekeepers. Aggressively, look at what the biggest points of friction are. Is it a required credential? Complex paperwork? Is it, like in Lovable's case, a specific technical skill? Find it and try to eliminate it.
And we should mention the low cost helps here too, right? Like the pro tiers are around $25 a month.
Yeah, the affordability is key. That $25 gets you like 100 credits, which is apparently enough to keep building and iterating, especially using those more generative, high-level prompts. It keeps the financial barrier low too.
Makes sense. Okay, step 3.
Trust. Equip people with the tools or resources they need, and then trust them. Trust them to build, to solve problems, to 10x their own agency, as the source puts it. Lovable gives users immense power right out of the gate. They trust the community to create, not just consume.
Empower and trust. Got it. And the last step.
Make support visible. This could be practical support, like the real-time access to experts during SheBuilds, or it could be symbolic, like that t-shirt. It's about showing you care, demonstrating connection, and reinforcing the value you place on their participation.
Invitation, remove gatekeepers. Trust, visible support.
Okay, and taken together, that whole approach, it really sets a high bar, doesn't it, for what leadership might need to look like going forward.
How so?
Well, the central insight we started with, right? Lovable seems to show that global progress, or even just significant innovation, maybe doesn't depend on a few experts building things for everyone else.
And on more people building together.
Exactly. More people creating, more people solving problems from their own perspective. Their model kind of demands that future leaders, if they want this kind of success, need to be thinking globally, yes, but also be fundamentally inclusionary by design. It's not just nice to have, it might be financially necessary.
Okay, so considering how low that barrier to entry is with Lovable Affordable uses natural language.
Yeah.
Here's the final thought, the question for you listening.
Yeah.
If you had 48 hours, 0 coding constraints, just describe your idea and get a functioning app. What problem would you tackle first? What idea would you build? And maybe more importantly, looking at your own job, your own field.
Yeah.
What are the biggest, maybe most archaic gatekeepers still standing? The ones that could potentially be removed with smarter, more inclusive design?